Hello everyone, welcome to this week's webinar. We're brought to you by Medicus Golf and KickX Golf. We're here at Tiffany Golf Club in Kansas City, Missouri, along with Brenndan Cooper. And we want to welcome you all here. This week's topic is going to be about play golf, not golf swing. Now, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box over there to the side. So, we know a lot of times when players go to work on their golf game, and they're working on golf swing stuff, they hit it really good when they're on the range or they're with us, but then they go to the golf course and they struggle.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that's because they're not playing golf, they're trying to play golf swing.
Exactly.
Right? So, you know, the thing you have to remember is when it's time to tee it up, you have to be target oriented with, you can have the most swing thoughts you can have is one. Whether it be a backswing or a downswing thought, but most of the time you can just have one and still be effective.
Yes.
I'll give you an example. When Nick Faldo totally rebuilt his game with David Ledbetter, that whole next year while he was working on his swing, he went out and he didn't play golf. I mean, he was playing golf, he was playing tournament golf. But when he went out, he was trying to incorporate all the pieces that he and David were working on. Now, he still played tournament caliber golf because he's a tour player.
Yep.
But it took a while for those changes to get ingrained. The average golfer who doesn't have time to practice or doesn't have the inclination to practice, which is more of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
More than the time thing. When it's time to tee it up, you got to take whatever you've got. And you're going to see it on the practice tee. How's that ball moving? Well, that's the flight you got to play today.
Exactly.
So, you know, and I know that we spend a lot of time with players doing this. So, you know, at the end of the day, you got to go out and play the golf and you have to play the golf course. You're not playing your competitor. You're not playing golf swing. You're just playing golf.
Exactly. You're trying to get it from point A to point B. That's the whole trick. And like you're saying, you've got to learn how to separate those two mindsets.
Right.
And yeah, we know from experience, we know it can be tough, but you just got to learn how to just let it go, you know, see it, feel it, and trust it, and just move on.
Right. I mean, and you know, we used to tell these people all the time. I mean, they come to a 3-day golf school, and you're working on typically more than one or two things in a golf school. But you know, I've seen people that actually go to a school and they tear their whole swing apart. They start with their grip, their posture, their setup, their swing plane, how the club faces. I mean, they try to incorporate all these changes in 3 days. Well, so here's what happened. The guy or gal get back to their club. The members and the players that people they play with know that they just went to a 3-day golf school. So they're expecting to see great things out of this person, right?
Exactly.
So, but what happens is, you know, going through the player's mind, he's going, okay, now I got to make sure that I'll take my grip. The V to my right hand is pointed to my right shoulder, and the V to my left hand is pointed somewhere between my chin and my shoulder. I want to get my feet 12.5 inches apart, my hands at the middle of my body. I want to feel the weight more centered, not much towards the toes or towards the heels. From there, I got to use my right forearm, take this back without bending it underneath this way. And once I get it to the top, as I make sure that I am turned and not tilted, because that's my flaw. So I've got to get up there, turn, then I have to start down. I've got to move the pressure and the weight left. I've got to get the club down in the slot, and then I got to release the fire out of it. And all this is going through their head before they get the shot.
And that's it. That's easy.
That's it.
You can do it.
So now you just step up and get the shot, right? So you can see it. You would be absolutely paralyzed if you had that many swing strikes.
Yeah.
So now there is a way when you go on the golf course, if you're just going out by yourself and you're going to hit some, you know, play a few holes. Now, in that environment, go out and try to play golf on all the changes or whatever it is you're working on. You try to do that in that environment.
Exactly.
But if you and I are going out, we're both working on swing changes, I can only hope that you think about all your swing changes.
Yeah, exactly. If we're playing one-on-one, I'm hoping Chuck is thinking exactly what he just showed everybody is that many thoughts.
Right.
You know, you hit the nail on the head. Find time to go out by yourself and try these feels, try the new ball flight or whatever it is you're working on.
Right.
Try it in a solo setting You know, because when you're with your buddies, you're always trying to impress them, whether you're keeping score or not. In the back of your mind, you're always trying to play for score. So do it by yourself to where you can get adjusted to how these fields are on the golf course.
Right, and that's what you have to do, because again, at the end of the day, it's about getting the ball in the hole in the fewest strokes possible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it really doesn't matter how you do it if you can accomplish that.
Exactly.
But what you cannot do is have all these swing thoughts. So years ago, there was a guy up in Tennessee, named is Kerry Mumford. Kerry was a sports psychologist, and he came up with a thing called a clear key.
Mm-hmm.
And so what Kerry found out through 20 years of researching through psychiatric works, what he found out was that players can change their mindset by just doing a couple of things. So, and you have to think of it like this. Let's say you're on the 18th green. You have a 10-foot putt to win the press 4 ways. Now, you walk around 20 different angles looking at this. You get over here, and your only thought is don't hit it short, and you knock it 4 feet past. It doesn't even touch the hole. So then you go up and you take your putter and you go like this, and what usually happens? It goes in the hole.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is an automatic response. All of these thoughts prior to that were called manual thoughts. So the key is to take your brain from manual and put it into automatic. So Kerry came up with a process for that. And so what you do is you have to take a profile, tells you what kind of student, you know, what kind of learner they are, whether you're a driver, analyzer, craftsman, persuader, whatever it is, whether you're right brain, left brain. And then that tells you how best you learn how to do things. So then let's say that you're working on a mechanical change. So you do 4 swings working strictly on the mechanics of the golf swing with no regard to where the ball goes. The next 4 you want to do on what's called automatic. So automatic is a phrase or a saying that contains no action words. And you say this to yourself and I'll go through the process. You say this to yourself because if you're saying this phrase to yourself, you can't have any swing thoughts. So let's say that you know, I'm going to hit the shot back here, and I stand here, and I program, I get a feel for whatever it is I'm trying to do, and then I tell myself, I'm going on automatic. Mary had a little lamb, I wish I had one too. Mary had a little lamb, I wish I had one too. Mary had a little lamb. So you have to keep saying the phrase so the swing thought can't get in there. Now, if you go over here and you're going, Mary had a little lamb, I wish I had one too. Mary had a little lamb. That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to keep that process smooth.
Yes.
So, and what we call that transfer training, right? You're transferring mechanical, right, to, for lack of a better word, feel.
Yes.
And you have to be able to do that. So when you're practicing, always work on the mechanical part, and then hit 4 or 5 balls doing that. Then come up and think about it a different way. Actually try not to think about the mechanics, just think about getting the ball to target.
Yes, and like I said, it definitely helps to say some sort of phrase, because even though you can tell yourself not to think a mechanical thought,
right,
if you're not saying something out loud, you're going to think a mechanical thought.
Right.
That's just how powerful the mind is.
Right, and I did it out loud so you guys could hear it, but you don't have to do it out loud. As long as you're doing it internally, you know, I mean, you know, because how many of your buddies are going to laugh at you if you're sitting up here talking about Mary had a little lamb? But they don't know what you're doing if it's internal.
Yep.
Now, Kerry worked with over 200 tour players doing this, and you'll see some players. Tiger especially, back in 2000 era, you'd see him standing behind the shot, and you'd see him almost talking to himself. Mo Norman did the same thing. You know, they told themselves what they were trying to do. In fact, Mo Norman had a clear key, and his was, I'm pure energy.
Yeah.
That was his clear key.
Yeah.
Okay, now, you know, that may not be an action word, but by the same token, you want it to be you want to say that phrase no more than 3 times, from the time you say you're going automatic until the time the ball's gone. If it takes you more than 3, then the phrase is either too long or you're saying it too slowly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So we do that a lot with our transfer. Again, work on the mechanical piece, right? Then get stuck, and all you're trying to do is just swing this club, right? Club to ball, watch your ball flight. Because the ball flight's going to tell you everything, right? So anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that's the best way for people to, one, go from the mechanical mindset to just turning it off and letting it go.
Right.
And that's a big key as far as learning how to take it from the range or inside our performance center out to the golf course.
Right. And some sports psychologists, some announcers call it, well, they are in the zone.
Yeah.
What does that mean? They're in the zone.
Yeah. I know a lot of people in the zone, but it's not the right kind of zone.
Yeah. So all that basically means is they're playing within themselves and they are in control of their thoughts and their process during the golf swing.
Yes.
When your brain is scattered and you've got all these different swing thoughts, how are you going to pick the one that's actually going to control the golf ball?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, this game is hard enough as it is, and
Yeah.
there's so many moving pieces. You cannot cloud your mind with that. You just got to just learn to just let it go and get the ball from here to there. And whatever your flight is, you just deal with it and then work on it and try to adjust afterwards.
Right. Well, we are going to be at the PGA show next week. If you are down in Orlando and come by the convention center, we'll be either at the Medicus booth or the KickX booth, and that runs Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There will be a demo day Tuesday out at Orange County National. There's a lot of things going on, so if you're in that area, drop by. We will not have a webinar next Friday. I see a couple of questions, so let me just check on these. All right, so our first question, what are some of your favorite swing thoughts? And that is from Rex. Okay, go ahead.
Well, Rex, that's a good question, and sometimes it depends on really what the player is working on. A lot of times it's just simply, for me, I know personally, it's just a lot of times just a couple things. I'm trying to keep my head steady and making sure I'm getting my weight on my left side.
Yeah.
For a lot of students that we see day in and day out, those are probably two of the most important elements that people need to focus on is getting a feel for head steady, weight forward.
Right. And the other question from here is never use the word don't. And that's pretty good because you see a lot of players standing up on the tee and there might be water left and the first thought in their mind is, I don't want to hit it left.
Yeah.
Well, the brain doesn't know do from don't. Mm-hmm. All it hears is left and it hears water. Okay, so recognize a problem and then just tell yourself, I want to hit it down the right-hand side. And the brain absorbs negatives 5 times faster than positives. So words like don't, no, I mean, just any kind of negative connotation, you want to try to take out of your pre-swing and also of your thought process.
Exactly right.
All right, I don't see any more questions up there. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming. We will see you in 2 weeks. If you're down in Orlando, stop by and say hi. We'll see you then. And unfortunately, the Big Red, the Big Blue are not in the playoffs. So
I'm speechless.
He is speechless. He was almost crying. Okay, we'll see you guys later.